Yo, Kpaceguy here, what's going on YouTube? And right in front of you is the Bose 141s. These speakers are decades and decades old. I think they started releasing these in about 1984 and then they stopped making them in about 2003. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's kind of the timeline. But you're probably wondering, what the heck are you doing with some old Bose bookshelves, Bose in general? And guys, don't worry, don't be alarmed. I'm just kind of playing around with these speakers. I was actually searching on eBay and things like that, Amazon, Newegg, all those other different kind of retailers, because again, I'm piecing my second home theater together and I'm saving up for things. But I saw these for dirt cheap. These are $49.50, I believe I paid. $49.50 just for some bookshelves, and I thought I would just grab them just to review and then possibly just give them away to anybody. And so we're gonna talk about these speakers. These speakers, people really like the Bose speakers from the very beginning, the 301s, the 201s, the early days of Bose. People really like those types of speakers, and supposedly these speakers are pretty good as well. Supposedly they play much larger than they actually are, and they sounded a lot better than a lot of the competition back in the day. And so I wanted to see now, how good are these speakers in today's terms, in today's standards? We all know that Bose was once, the most known name ever, and they may be still the known name ever in the music industry, the home theater industry. And then they kind of fell off because some of the audiophiles were thinking, hey, they don't use very good components, they're cheap, their speakers are small, they're not full range, this, that, and the other. And then now they're starting to make really good products, the Bose Lifestyle 650, the 600, things like that. They have some pretty convincing technology, and you can't deny that. So I decided to pick up these and see how these fare in 2019. So it's just a little experimental kind of thing, just some fun on the channel. So we're actually gonna hook these speakers up, and we're gonna turn off my Polk Audio, the main speakers here, which are the, lose focus there, that speaker right there. I got the 707s hooked up now. We're gonna replace that, and we're gonna hook up the 141s in their place and just listen to some music and listen to some movies and things like that and see how they sound. I'm so excited to do this. I'm not sure what to expect. I'm not a Bose fanboy. I never was. I didn't really have any Bose products growing up. So I'm really interested to see what these speakers sound like. I know nothing about them, but we're gonna find out how they sound today. Now guys, these speakers are so old to the point where I can't really find a lot of specs for these speakers, but what I can tell you is they're about 10 to 80 watts maximum handling capacity. They are a speaker that can handle 4, 6, or 8 ohm impedances. They can handle any of that depending on what receiver you're going to be using, but 10 to 80 watts is all that it's going to ask of you to power the speaker. And if you guys are looking at it, you're probably wondering, where's the tweeter at? There's no tweeter. There's just one 4.5-inch driver there. And yeah, you're correct. There is no tweeter here. This speaker is a full range speaker. It handles all the highs and all the lows, supposedly. And you know the saying that floats around there, no highs, no lows, must be Bose. This speaker might be the absolute pinnacle of that saying, because there is no tweeter here. It's a small driver in a relatively small enclosure, but Bose is claiming that it can reach pretty good frequencies both in the upper registers and the lower registers. So we're actually going to play some music and find that out. It's going to be some non-copyright music, so nothing really good to really judge off of, just kind of get a listen. But I just want you guys to look at the speaker here. So again, you do have that 4.5-inch driver there that has a little bit of a pattern here, and I guarantee you that's some kind of proprietary their own little work, their own little waveguide, things like that to make the sound better. And then you have your push spring terminals at the bottom of the speaker right here. So it's an old speaker, guys, but we're gonna plug it up and we're gonna see how it sounds. Alright guys, so we have these hooked up directly to the monolith, 200 watts per channel times 7. And these only take 80 watts max, so we're gonna actually have to be very careful with this. But we're gonna play some non-copyright music just to see how they sound. I've completely turned off everything in the system other than the speakers themselves. No sub, no center channel, no surrounds, just the Bose speakers. So we're gonna play some music and see just how good or bad they sound in 2019. Alright guys, so this song has a lot more bass in it than the first one. And so we're going to turn this up just a little bit more and see how it fares. Now I kind of have an idea of how good or bad this is going to be, but I'll let you guys be the judge of it yourself. Alright, so now that that's over, let me tell you what I'm thinking. So these speakers, they were in pure direct mode with no assistance whatsoever, no subs, no other speakers with them, just that speaker there and that speaker over there on the top. And let me tell you something, guys. In today's standards, these speakers are absolutely crap. They are garbage for just main speakers, I would say. I'd say they're probably not too bad on surround sound applications, actually. If you were to use these speakers as like a back surround or a hype channel, if you had the means to do so or something like that, you may be able to get away with these speakers. But to use them as your main fronts is an absolute no. That is not what you want to do with these. You definitely need a subwoofer. It did say that they're full range and they get pretty low. And honestly, I did hear a pretty vast amount of frequency range, between maybe 35 up to, you know, maybe 15 kilohertz, maybe 20 kilohertz. But that output was very minimal. You could hear the bass in the song, but it was so quiet. It was nowhere near full, didn't have very much presence to it, but it was there. It was definitely there, but it's not there to the point where you would use these as a front speaker. You would not want to use that as a front speaker. So what are these speakers good for in 2019? Well, not much, honestly. If you have these speakers now, or if you're looking at speakers like this, they're pretty good for surround sound applications. Something that doesn't ask for a lot of bass, something that doesn't ask for a lot of detail. But they're gonna be hard to timbre match with the rest of your system if you have different speakers other than these, because no other speaker nowadays are full ranges. Usually they have a tweeter and a dedicated tweeter and another full range underneath it, a mid-range woofer. These are full ranges. I know Kef, they use their Unicube and stuff like Unicube stuff, and they, you know, they have a full range speaker and the driver in the middle, but that's a whole different thing than what Bose has done back in the past. These are full range speakers trying to be, well, these are not full range speakers trying to be full range speakers. They actually had a pretty good amount of high end, actually. I was very surprised. Their high end sounded better than their low end. And I thought it would maybe be terrible on both ends. I thought it would sound very, very muffled, very, very boxy, just cheap. And it doesn't necessarily sound that bad. The high end is actually pretty clear for the most part, but it still sounds terrible, guys. So I'm gonna play the song again, the song we just listened to last. I'm gonna play that again, but I'm gonna play it on the Polk Audio LSIM 707s so that you guys can get an idea of what that song was supposed to sound like. So I'm gonna unplug the Bose now, plug back in my main fronts there, and play the song one more time, maybe 30 seconds of it or so, just so you guys can hear what it was meant to sound like. Alright guys, so there you have it. You heard the bookshelves there in front of you, and you heard the LSIM 707s, and the difference is night and day. How did these speakers do in 2019? You heard it for yourself. Do not use these speakers if you're going to use them for anything home theater unless it's going to be surround sound. There's far too many things out there nowadays that are just way better than these old bookshelves. These were discontinued back in 2003, so they had a pretty good run. But that run is definitely over, guys. So honestly, if you guys are looking for these speakers or anything like this, if you're not looking for anything in particular, I'm actually gonna give these away. And I'll tell you how to get these speakers in my next video coming up next week. Maybe this weekend, not sure yet, we'll have to see. But I'm gonna give these speakers away if anybody wants them. I'm gonna tell you how to win them. But for now, guys, that's gonna be it for the video. You heard this, you heard the difference. I had these powered with a Monolith 7 times 200 watt amplifier at 8 ohms. These are 4 to 8 ohms. And it took a lot of power to drive these speakers. These speakers are so inefficient. I tried to turn it up and turn it up to get some volume out of it, and I saw the woofer already starting to move a little bit, but I wasn't really getting much sound out of it as far as output goes. So you really have to crank these up to get anything out of them, but I had the LSIMs down much lower than what I had the Bose speakers, and the difference is night and day, guys. So just a fun video, just some laughs and some giggles, just something different, you know, on the channel, just to have some fun. But we're gonna give these speakers away, so stay tuned for that video on how to get these if you're interested in them. Just to play around with. Maybe you like to blow speakers, you can blow these speakers if you like to, whatever you want to do, guys. So that's gonna be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, hit that like button for me, man. Hit it hard, knock it out, TKO. Leave me a comment down below. Have you ever had any of these Bose speakers, and what speakers of Bose's did you have? Whether it's these, maybe some Bose Lifestyle 600, maybe the acoustic mask back in the day, whatever you guys had. Leave that down below in the comments, and make sure you hit that subscribe button for more, because next week is gonna be a crazy week. It's gonna be super fun. I got really cool stuff for you guys. So we'll see you guys in the next video. Kpaceguy out.